Do you ever feel bored in your relationship? Like, bored. Maybe you think it's your partner, maybe you think it's you. If you're in a long-term relationship, there's no way that you've never felt bored, and that's exactly what I'm going to be handling in this episode of the Terri Cole Show. So if you're new to this crew, my name is Terri Cole. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, a relationship expert, the founder of Real Love Revolution and Boundary Bootcamp, and the author of Boundary Boss. So let's start with boredom. I've had a lot of women in my groups and my courses saying that they feel bored in their relationship, and their fear is that this means they're in the wrong relationship, they married the wrong person, and I'm going to say that I don't necessarily think that that's what it means. So in this episode, which is, what episode is it? 275. I created a little cheat sheet for you. All you got to do is go to terricole.com/275 to get it. I'm giving you my top 3 passion-producing tips. And they're not going to be the things that you think, because we read a lot about how to make more passion in your relationship, and people have all these ideas of have a date night, or whatever those ideas are. But mine's going to be a little bit more introspective, because I believe that that's where the boredom actually resides. So, first of all, it's normal. Before I even get into my thoughts for you, I want you to know that it's normal for relationships to go through phases. Think about when you first met your person, how it was, how you were. It's like you could not live without them. Everything about them was amazing. When I was first with my husband, Victor, I had already had a trip planned to go to Italy, and he already had a trip planned to take the kids to Paris. And I was in the countryside of Italy with friends. It was beautiful. And I literally wished I was in Elizabeth, New Jersey with Vic. I wrote him a 40-page letter from my vacation in Italy. I didn't want to do anything. I was obsessed. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to get back to New Jersey, because really, I just couldn't wait to get back to him. And listen, I'm not saying that I don't still feel, listen, he's still the best thing around in my life, right? I still would pretty much always rather be with him than anybody else. But that urgency, that passion and that urgency that comes from this young relationship, that's the beginning. That's a phase of a relationship that binds you to the person. And that really is a passion-driven relationship. But all relationships are a combination of passion and compassion, right? If it's a good relationship. And as you grow and as the relationship gets deeper, there's both. Compassion for the other person allows you to get to know them, to understand what their dreams are, to care about the way they feel. In the beginning of relationships, so much of the time is about how they feel about us. How desired are we? Like, how do they make us feel? Even though we're desirous of them as well, it's almost like there's something very seductive about seeing ourselves through the eyes of someone who is madly in love with us. And that goes for both people in that union. But we could not do that forever. We'd never get anything done in life. Who would have kids or have businesses or do anything, right? An artist would never do any more work if they only were obsessed with their relationship. So know that it's normal that in the first 2 years of a relationship that it might be more physically passionate, meaning more frequency of sex, wanting to have sex all the time. No matter how tired you are, you could still manage to get it up to have sex, you know? When you have children, when life changes, you'd rather sleep sometimes because you're exhausted, and it's a different phase of life. That doesn't mean it's bad or that it's wrong. So I find that with my therapy clients who are in long-term relationships, a lot of times this boredom thing, especially for my clients who had sort of big careers and then got into a family way, even if they still have a career, now there's so much more pressure. Because if you're a woman and you are basically the primary breadwinner, let's say, there's all of this guilt that comes along with not staying home with kids. And if you stay home with kids, then there's all this feeling of missing out, that you're not still working and contributing and producing. There's all kinds of complications in this process. But life and passion and relationships go through phases, which really is the essential point of this episode, is to look at your relationship, go through the phases. Now, I'm going to give you some ideas. So let's just start with, I'm going to ask you, and I put all this in your guide, terricole.com/275. The first thing you'll do is take an inventory, right? You're going to literally go through all the things that you do in your day. What are you bored with? What moments are you bored with? How does your partner play into that or not play into that, right? Because what I find a lot with my therapy clients, they'll say they're bored with the relationship, but what's really happening is that they're bored with their routine. They're bored with the known, with the regularity of all the things that they have to do. Now, obviously, we need some kind of a routine if we are going to have a family or get anything done, right? In life, we need a routine of some kind. But you can also change that up. So I want you to really go through your day, identify where is it? What are you bored with? Are you just feeling lazy? So you're eating the same thing every single day, every single morning, every single lunchtime, every single, that's one thing. Are you working out the same way? Now, I mean, life has changed quite a bit in the past year. So most people are not working out the same as they used to. If you used to go to a gym, most people are now doing those things at home or doing it, taking it outside, walking, hiking, whatever you're doing. But think about, what do you do that's the same? So are you bored in your relationship? Or are you bored with this very old routine? So that's going to be your first step. The second is to shake it up. Now, this is shake it up in all areas of your life. So not just looking at the relationship. Yes, shake it up. If sex has been boiled down to, I do this, you do that, then we're done. You know what? Shake it up. Do something different. Think about something that was really hot or erotic that you did in your relationship early on that you haven't done maybe in years, and try to resurrect that shit. Try to bring it on back in. If you have kids at home, then you can't really change where you have sex, because if they're home, obviously. But if you don't have kids at home, think about, remember when you were young? Remember when the beginning of a relationship where you could literally think about, or maybe this is just me and I'm telling you too much about myself, but any place seemed like an okay place to have sex, kind of, where you're like, yes, never go to a hotel and not have sex. Like that would never happen. Everything seemed like an opportunity to have something exciting and interesting. And, variety is the spice of life to a degree, but especially when it comes to long-term, intimate, sexual relationships. So do something different. And do something different for yourself. Do you remember how you cared about the way you looked in the beginning of your relationship? Yeah, pretend that you're just dating and do something that you're putting an effort into yourself. And maybe you guys can do it for each other. I feel like there's something about, my friend Esther Perel talks about, she wrote a book called Mating in Captivity and the State of the Union. And she's so, oh my God, she's so brilliant. But she talks about in long-term relationships, like we want the security, like that's a thing we're looking for in life when we're looking for true love and lasting love. And all of that means it's going to be knowable. The person is trustworthy. You can count on them. But then look at eroticism and good sex and all the things that we think that go along with that. That's like mystery, the unknown. So we actually almost have to try to manufacture that. Don't be so predictable. Do something different to delight, to excite, to interest your partner, and hopefully they'll do the same for you. So when I say shake it up, yes, I mean sexually in one way, but also do something different. When you can come out of your house again more regularly, it's like finding a new place to go. And what Vic and I do, actually, because we're not going out to dinner any places right now, is getting in the car. He'll always say, hey, you up for an adventure? I'm like, always, yes, I'm getting my water bottle, I'm coming. And then we'll literally just go on a road because we live, you can see, like in the middle of nowhere. Just go on a road or go to a town we've never been to. Look at homes. We both love old cemeteries, so we'll go check out old anything, Revolutionary War type stuff. That is interesting. And whenever he suggests it, I get so excited. Like I'm like, we're doing something different because we both work a lot. And, he's out there in his studio right now and I'm in here doing this right now. So, this is more of our life. But at least once every 2 weeks, he's like, let's just say, forget the rest of the day working and let's just go have an adventure. And that really does interest and excite me. I mean, he's still the most interesting person I've ever met, without a doubt. But shaking up the routine really enlivens and invigorates the relationship itself, whether it's sexual, whether it's having an adventure down a country road, something that is different so it's not so predictable. So we're going to shake it up. And the last thing I'm going to say about this, and it may not sound like, I said your top 3 passion creators, but these really are them for me. The third thing is having great gratitude daily and expressing it for your person, for your partner. Because here's the thing, it can be really, really easy to take your life partner for granted, your spouse, to think that they'll always be there, to just focus on the shit that annoys you about them rather than really getting. You know who doesn't work for me? My husband. Anything he does for me, every single thing, whether he makes the bed, whether he empties the dishwasher, I'm grateful and I tell him. And he does the same because you know who I don't work for? Him, right? We're in this voluntary, but it is everything he does for me that makes my life easier, that makes me feel like he thought of me. That is a kindness that I appreciate. So I'm really into upping the daily gratitude factor in your relationship. And I think it will make a profound difference in the well of goodwill that you are creating between you. So if you want to get that little downloadable sheet, all you got to do is go to terricole.com/275. I am sending you guys all the good vibes. I hear you if you're bored. Try these things. I want to know if you try them. What happened? Tell me. Drop me a comment. If you listen to the podcast rather than watch it here, because on YouTube, I do about a 10 to 12 minute thing. I do a totally separate thing on the same topic on for the podcast. So if you want a deeper dive into this, more personal stories, more case studies from clients, then you might want to listen to the podcast, which is just the Terri Cole Show, but it's on iTunes. And if you like it, and right here, please subscribe, do your thing, share it with people. And, I hang out most on Instagram, so share it in your stories and ask me questions because, every Thursday I put out a little video right here answering your questions. So thank you for being me. I hope you have an amazing week. And as always, take care of you.